and welcome to my channel. Some of you will know me as Shrinatron on Instagram, where I regularly post yoga, fitness and guitar related content. But some of you won't know me at all, so welcome to you too. Been on Instagram for about 4 years now and have quite a following. And my main aim has always been to inspire and motivate others. Within these 4 years, I've had a lot of people saying that they admire my practice. But I've also had a lot of people saying that they feel that they can't start yoga for one reason or another, but they wish that they could. So I've decided to make a few videos to try and persuade you that the barriers you think are there that prevent you from starting yoga aren't really there, and that yoga truly is for everyone. So to do that, I'm going to start with one of the excuses I hear the most, which is I'm too inflexible to start yoga, or my legs are too long, or my arms are too short, or my bum's too big, you name it. Have you ever caught yourself saying, I can't even touch my toes, let alone start yoga? Let me see if I can help change your mind by giving you 2 important principles about yoga. Number 1, the poses do not equal yoga. The idea that your body is an impediment to starting yoga may derive from a misconception of the purpose and the origin of what yoga actually is, with the belief that yoga is all about the poses, the ability to do them and the aesthetics and everything around the poses. Going into a yoga practice with the idea, the aim of nailing a pose is not what yoga is about. One of my meditation teachers when I was in Goa told me that yoga should be meditation to movement, and I really love that, and I've tried to incorporate it into my life ever since. Now if we break that down, meditation is about refocusing your energy into your mind and reconnecting, tuning back in, steady breathing, all of those lovely things that are important for your self-care. And if we add that to movement, then you have yoga. In my personal view, anything that detracts from this, yoga that pushes you too hard so that you're out of breath, or competitive behaviour with yourself or with others, or negative thoughts about your body, that you aren't good enough, or goal setting, or anything of that nature, this doesn't belong in yoga. Put that somewhere else. Because it is yoga and not just meditation, your body will inevitably be part of the practice. And the poses will guide you along the way. But that's all they are, they're just a guidance. They are not an end goal, and the purpose of yoga is not to attain poses. I was lucky enough to have started yoga 13 years ago when I was 13, before social media really kicked off, and gave a false representation of what yoga actually is. I've seen a really unfortunate transformation over the years where the asanas, the poses, have become the main focus and are what people aspire to want. It was a really different world when I was 13. For me, I just wanted an outlet after school instead of my computer games, because I was obsessed with being an introvert who loved computer games and not socializing, so I wanted just something else. I loved hobbies. So my mum gave me this DVD, I think it was a Barbara Curry DVD. So in the video there are 3 women and they're doing yoga practice in such a peaceful, relaxing way. Peaceful, lovely music and beautiful lighting, and it was just so peaceful to watch. And when I was that age, I aspired to feel what they were feeling. These women weren't the super flexible, super balancers, super strong yogis that you'll see on social media nowadays. It was just a really beautiful, peaceful, slow practice where the viewer would get relaxed just by watching it, whether or not they could do all the poses. So I aspired to be like them in terms of how peaceful they looked when they were tuning in with their body. And that was my genuine aim, if you like. For this reason, I never started with the aim of gaining flexibility or becoming a better balancer or becoming stronger. And so I never viewed my body as being a problem to start with. I truly think that I was lucky that I started with this video, and not being inspired by super flexible, strong people, because I was quite impressionable at that age and I would have gotten the wrong idea really early on. So I just want to emphasize the point that flexibility or perceived lack of flexibility is not at all a barrier to starting yoga, because it's not a prerequisite. The purpose of yoga is just to learn to be present, with more awareness of your mind and your body and the environment. A strong focus on your breathing helps to achieve this, just like in meditation. It's about tuning in with your body again, just like you did when you were growing up, when you learned to walk and to move. The transition from when you are a child to an adult can create this disconnect between your mind and your body, because life just sort of happens to you as you grow older, which is why I wish yoga and meditation were taught in schools. And this leads to aches and pains creeping in and bad posture creeping in. And all of this happens without you noticing. By reconnecting again with your body, you'll be able to see your strengths and your weaknesses that have developed over the years, and you'll begin to enjoy the feeling of stretching over time. Admittedly, it won't be that enjoyable maybe in your first few sessions, in your first few classes or first few self-practices. You might feel frustration and all sorts of negative feelings. As with meditation, neither are easy. They are a lifelong journey where you are working on them every single day. And that's the key thing, is that yoga poses are not the main part of yoga. It's about being present. So it could be that you don't practice asanas every day, but you are incorporating yoga into your life in other ways. It could be you are cooking, but you're cooking with awareness. So every time you chop something up, instead of going into bad negative thoughts, you're aware and you're present at that moment. So to sum up, the asanas, the basic ones, the advanced ones, they're all just poses. Yoga is not just the poses themselves, and therefore you don't really need to be able to do any of them. You could just sit here and turn your neck from side to side, as long as it involves deep breathing. Or you could raise an arm and stretch, twist your back. All of this, if you do it for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour, all of this is yoga practice, as long as you're reconnecting with your mind and your body to create a beautiful meditation practice. That is what yoga is about. So the idea that you need to be flexible to start yoga is quite redundant. Flexibility is more or less irrelevant to your practice in some respects, but I'll go into that into the next point. So an important thing to note is that the poses may represent where a person is on their journey, but they also might represent their discipline to other practices such as contortion or dance or martial arts or gymnastics. So you've just got to understand that it's such a personal journey, and your personal journey really has nothing to do with anybody else. And this nicely brings me to point number two. Yoga is not a competition with yourself or with anybody else. This is vital to understand. Yoga is not a sport or a discipline that requires any goal setting or any expectations or anything of the sort. The goal, if you like, could be, I want to tune in with my body more, or I want to be able to practice mindfulness, or I want to be able to give myself some self-love. But putting flexibility as the goal, especially as the start goal, will create a hurdle for you that you might not be able to get over, especially if it's your first goal. If you're saying to yourself, I need to be flexible before I even start yoga, that's quite a difficult hurdle to jump over unless you begin to practice other disciplines, and even then you're avoiding the point of yoga. And it's very unlikely that you will begin these other disciplines just to start yoga, so you're creating a mental block. More importantly, by viewing yoga as a goal-setting exercise, and I can see how it's easy to go into yoga expecting to attain something at the end, you will continue this mindset throughout the rest of your practice. And it's difficult to shake this feeling of self-competition off. Believe me, it really is. Which is why you'll find a lot of people on social media set themselves goals within yoga. My only goals now relate to flexibility training for contortion and strength-based training as part of my calisthenics. And often I will include things like arm balances or something that pushes me a little bit harder. But this is all a controlled part of my practice. I don't jump onto my mat and think, I want to do the splits today. That never ever happens. I don't focus all my energy on a goal like that. I will do a practice and incorporate the splits into my practice if my body allows me to. It's a very Western concept that everything should be goals and you should set goals for everything and be productive, be super productive. But this is the one area in your life where you don't have to be productive and you don't have to set goals. And one of my yoga teachers said that you should put maximum something like 60% effort in, or even less. This is the ultimate time to just be nice to yourself and not set yourself any expectations that you possibly don't meet and then get sad about it after your practice. A more sad thing I find is when people compare themselves to other people, not only in yoga, but let's focus on yoga. So the idea that you're not as good at yoga as somebody who's practiced for many years, or the front row of a class that you've been to, this kind of mindset belongs in other disciplines, not yoga. So for example, gymnastics or martial arts or dance, where the idea is to showcase and compete. And there are goals and there are expectations to be met. And there are medals to be won and things to be achieved. But there is no such thing as being the best in yoga. You will not find a global best yogi medal or anything like that. It's like looking for the winner of the best meditation practice. You are already your best self. And of course you can become more flexible or balance better or become stronger, but it doesn't make you a better person within yoga, and you're not going to achieve anything by doing this unless it helps with the self, bearing in mind that this is all about the self. It's lovely to admire others and to aspire to be like them, but admire the good qualities that they are portraying. So their dedication, their discipline, their self-love, their ability to breathe during quite intense poses. There is no such thing as being better at yoga than somebody else. You may come across a dancer or a gymnast or someone who's been doing yoga for 13 years and you think that they're better than you. But all they are is literally they are more flexible than you, they are more strong, they are better at balancing than you, but they're not better at yoga than you because your practice is separate to their practice entirely. They've lived a different life to you. So while flexibility should not be a goal in yoga whatsoever, it of course does play a role by helping you get deeper into beneficial poses, and also just by helping you become more comfortable with your practice overall. So for me, my back is not naturally bendy. It is forwards, but going backwards, trying to get it back is a very difficult task for me. And I would notice that I would go into classes or do self-practice and try and do a bridge. I would get up into it and I would feel completely suffocated. I'll show an example of how I mean. So I would be So I would get up here and be like, I wouldn't be able to breathe whatsoever. But now, because I have practiced backbending so much and focused a lot of my energy on backbending, I am able to breathe completely. So before, I would find that I was suffocated and completely unable to breathe. And I found that doing stretches both at home and at the gym or wherever helped me access that pose better. Now I can do the bridge comfortably and feel the benefits of the bridge. And you should do these side stretches for your yoga practice if you think it will help you get into poses that you find too inaccessible. And do so without putting too much effort in and without straining, because honestly there's no point. It won't make you more flexible. Patience and practice will help you attain the flexibility that you feel that you need for your yoga practice. There really is no room for pushing yourself within yoga. So, hopefully you've been able to see that yoga doesn't have a starting goal or an end goal, and that it's simply a very personal part of your life, where life is so stressful and you won't have much time for yourself in general. Yoga is your me time, the time to be kind to yourself. It's not the time of the day for you to be putting never-ending goals and expectations and to start a really unhealthy and punishing relationship with your body. I hope that I've been able to make you see that you are perfect as you are, and all that's required is you being yourself. There are no prerequisites at all. Your arms are not too short, your legs are not too long, your legs are not too thick, your bum's not too big. You are already flexible enough to start yoga, because yoga is for everyone. It's not just for the super flexible people who already have a good background in flexibility, strength and balance. My advice would be just start with the basics. Don't rush, don't put high expectations on yourself, don't set any goals, and don't expect instant results from something that will be incorporated into your life for the rest of your life. Just continue and understand the bigger picture of why you're doing it in the first place. So no, you do not need to be flexible to start yoga, and you can start whenever. I really hope this video helped, and if it did, please subscribe, because I'm going to be making more videos along the lines of why I think you can start yoga at any time. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.